and having regard to the need of the Defence Force, the South African Defence Force at the time, as described in the evidence of, amongst others, Admiral Green and the various other officials from the SANDF, there was in fact a dire need. The equipment had become obsolete and had to be replaced. So there was a need to deal with the matter as soon as possible without delay. Would you agree with that?
Yes, no, Commissioners, I would agree with that. I would say, for instance, effectively, for instance, we did not have a navy. You had sailors who were on the state payroll and so on, but no ships to sail in, which was why it was correct even for the previous government. The decision to acquire those 3 corvettes was correct in itself because they were needed, as was again confirmed by the Defense Review. So, I mean, the re-equipping of the National Defense Force was clear. It was obvious and logical. Thanks, Commissioners.
And also, with regard to the envisaged acquisition, it is so that it was intended for the equipment to be acquired to be modern and be in line with the advancement in technology at the time that these decisions was made. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct, Commissioners.
And that is also a view that is expressed in the Defense Review, that in equipping the South African Defence Force, it was necessary to have modern equipment which would be or would enable those who operated to be able to operate it elsewhere in the world other than the Republic in the event that that need therefore arose.
Yes, that would be correct, because I mean, the part of the kind of military policy that we're developing also included visualizing our contributing to peacekeeping efforts on the continent. So we had to be able to have that kind of outreach beyond the borders of the country. Thanks. And if it didn't happen then, it would have happened at some other point. But in the end, the fact of the matter is, Cabinet took certain decisions based on recommendations made by the IMC, which IMC itself would have listened to presentations made to it by other committees.
In fact, if you have regard to paragraph 9 of your statement, you state there that the record shows that in November 1998, Cabinet approved the preferred suppliers for each of the equipment types comprising the SDPP, and Cabinet simultaneously at that point requested that matters relating to affordability should be investigated. So in November 98, Cabinet took a decision with the caveat that the affordability of the packages be investigated.
Commissioners, yes, that is correct.
Now, it is common cause now, and through the evidence of former Minister Manuel, that the exercise relating to the investigation of the affordability was undertaken, and on the evidence before the Commission, a presentation thereof of the affordability study was made to the Interministerial Committee around September 1999. Do you have any recollection of that without the aid of any document at this point?
No, the only thing I can say, Commissioners, is that indeed there was a report presented, we discussed it, and And then having satisfied ourselves that it had addressed what the Cabinet had said must be addressed, we took it back to Cabinet. What month that was, and so on, or even the detail of the discussion, I can't recall now.
Now, in paragraph 10, you state that when Cabinet was finally satisfied that it had attained an affordable contracting position that government could support, it took a decision in December 1999 in which it authorized the signing of the contracts with the successful suppliers. Do you recall that decision being taken by Cabinet?
Yes, Commissioners, I do. Indeed, this is a decision as is recorded here.
Could you just briefly set out the circumstances surrounding the decision being taken, if you recall?
Well, Commissioner, I'm not quite sure that I understand that question, but I mean, this is a culmination of a process. A decision having been taken, National Defence Force needs re-equipping, and go through a process to say this is how it needs to be re-equipped, and then pose the question, is it affordable? At the end of all of that process, a cabinet in December 99 said, well, all of these matters have been addressed, and in terms of the negotiations with the preferred bidders, what we required needed to be done with those preferred bidders in terms of the negotiations has been done, and therefore we can now proceed to sign the contracts with the successful suppliers. So I'm saying really, I think, Commission, it really just represents a culmination of this process which started quite earlier when these various decisions were taken to do this procurement.
Now, in paragraph 11 of your statement, you state that you have at all times held the firm conviction that the decisions of Cabinet, I presume this is in relation to the SDPP, were compliant with the Constitution and within the constitutional mandates conferred on Cabinet. Why was it necessary to include this statement or this assertion in your statement?
Well, Commissioners, I'm saying this because there are some matters that have been in the public domain for some time, some of which have suggested that there was something wrong, even probably constitutionally wrong, in terms of a government deciding to go for this requisition in the light of the various demands that the country has for houses and this and that and the other. To make the point that I mean, people shouldn't cherry pick what the Constitution says. It requires a defense force of a particular kind. It describes it, as the Commission knows, the task of this defense force. So, so to that extent, I'm saying that the decisions taken by government were compliant with the Constitution. And it also relates to matters that belong within the mandate of the National Executive.